Alrighty, everyone. We are going to get racing here from Daytona here in the NSSR USA Truck Series. Here on the East Division at Daytona tonight for 175 miles. And we will get started with your front lineup. So on the front row, we've got Alan Malcolm alongside Jordan Walker, Guido Piano and James Robert, Jamie Horseman and Andre Stefan, Jack Ross and Al Bunch, Andrew Moger and John Brinker, Mark Shelton alongside the 72 there of Nate Newman, Asiel Escobar and Ant Meeperson, Chris Mousy and the 59 of Gannon Bird, Scott Speed and James Gunner, Eli the Wolf with Ham Bergerson, Jakov Rosevich with the 18 there of Chaz Chadwick, the 04 of Chris Hergeson alongside Ralph Oberstadt, Kyle Ottawa and David Bird, Ryan Little and Zach Armstrong, Kenan Gage and Skylar Taylor, Finley Herwig and GP Luxembourg, Tayden Berggren and Bradley Ream. That's kind of a deep start for Bradley Ream, who I believe to be a top contender in the season. Followed by James Reddick and Jeffrey Gerald with AJ Kosnoff at the very back of the field here. We've already seen the West Division make their start to the series this year, so the Eastern Division gets to set up their season opener around the high banks of Daytona here.
Boys, coming at you. Let's make it a go, man. Let's have some fun.
And here we go. It's pretty interesting. The Trevor Ventures teammates starting on the front row here. Seems like it's been a trend throughout all of our opening races in the season that teammates stick together. Off to the early lead though, Alan Malcolm cuts over in front of his teammate, Jordan Walker there. Pretty solid lead at the moment as they're side by side for second. Right there behind him, the 19 Mola Toyota racing for TRD. That used to be the seat for Atlee Weiss. Weiss steps away from truck competition to focus full-time on the Cup side of things. And he dialed up your 2022 truck champion, Guido Piano there. So very highly talented entry to be in that number 19 truck. Could be a threat for another championship. Andrew Moger taking over the Volkswagen entry as well. As you can see, he's sneaking into the picture here with a good push from Shelton in the 11. Asiel Escobar in about fourth deep there on that inside row. Now, we've been lucky so far at all the super speedway races we've hosted that there hasn't been a big one yet. Armory Digital Super Speedway, we were treated to some great racing. And even in the Cup Series, we had 36 cars still running on the lead lap with potential of getting that win just last Friday night. A lot of new faces here too, as you can see. mixed in with the old faces that we all know for the last couple years. But Shelton there at the lead is going to lead his first laps in the series on his debut race today. 11 driving the JSR Ford, so actually filling in the open spot left behind when Moger left to join the Volkswagen team. Oziel Escobar, I'm sorry about that, running second. Jamie Horseman outside on the high, running about fourth. Looks like we're under caution here as we go into the drone cam. Ooh, and there is some of the carnage. Al Bunch just drove right into the parked truck there. See exactly how this all transpired. Oh, right towards the front of the field there. It looks like the 04 of Chris Hergeson kind of at the front field of that wreck. And we made it 5 laps here today, but no further than that did we get our first wreck. Man, a lot of good contenders there involved in this one. 82 of AJ Kosnoff goes for a roll. It all started when Jack Ross just clipped the rear end there of Hergeson. And they all just started piling in. 82 of Kosnoff going for quite the tumble there. Oberstadt joins him for a quick tumble. Unfortunately, the 87 of Al Bunch really shouldn't have been involved in this. He's just coming up on the aftermath, and well, he was involved in it at first here, getting caught up there. 32 of James Gunner. But Al Bunch probably could have kept going and avoided making contact right here where he made fatal blow to that 87 engine right there. Let's see the majority of the drama here for Nate Newman. I think Nate Newman would have been fine if he could have got back going, but this right here where he was having trouble getting off the seems that it might have been a little bit harder hit there for that truck. Well, there we go with the first carnage this season, really. And it's gonna put an end to the day for quite a few heavy hitters here tonight. Looks like at the tail end of the clean trucks that we've got, Skylar Taylor. Didn't look like he took much damage there on the 45 Subaru. Chaz Chadwick right there in front of him. Then you got David Bird, Bradley Ream, Zach Armstrong, GP Luxembourg, Jeffrey Gerald. Hashtag Hamburgerson, who has already put together a hashtag campaign that he will win tonight. Still staying alive here on lap 8. Avoided taking any damage there, so perhaps there might be some evident truth to that. It's been nice actually having this new camera that we can fidget with, the drone cam as I call it. Lights are still on the pace truck, so one more lap and they should get double filed up. This could give us some interesting perspectives to wrecks for the rest of the night. So, do a quick recap on who was involved in that wreck while we still got a brief moment before the restart here. The 59 of Gannon Bird is out. The 72, which I'm going to have to verify names since, yeah, Nate Newman, unfortunately, 36. The 82 of Kosnoff out. The 3 of Oberstadt out. The 87 of Al Bunch. The 43 of Taden Berggren. The 56 of Andre Stefan, which that's a hard hit there. He's been a really strong contender. The 79 of James Robert. The 32 of James Gunner. And the 04 of Chris Hergeson out of the race, leaving us with 27 trucks still running. And the 27 still running, I think, are relatively clean. It looks like the only 2 with significant damage will be the 74 of Moger and the 19 of Guido Piano. So if they drop off too quickly, we will have to black flag them so that they are not a hazard to the rest of the field. Here we go with the restart. Mozzie and Shelton side by side going into turn 1. Very interesting front of the field that we've got here. A lot of new blood fighting for the lead. Only on lap 10 here. You almost got to imagine that we had that big one this early, that it might actually be clean racing all the way to the finish with a lot less trucks in the battle here. It looks like Moger at the back of the field just slightly losing touch with the draft. Mousy with the early lead. On the restart, but it's going to be a conveyor belt of lead changes here, I imagine. Chris Mozzie has been snake bitten, has not had the luck come his way. Leading laps here tonight, definitely it's going to be good for the morale to get that team running stronger again. 3 wide for the lead as Eli the Wolf down on the bottom there. Scott Speed stuck in the middle. Mousie's going to have to find a way to get back to the bottom somehow. Eli the Wolf with the lead right now. He's going to have to hold off Rosevich there in second. Jordan Walker right there in the picture as well. Cannon Gage, an impressive position for the 8 truck. Cannon Gage has been moderate here in the truck series, but this year the team had hinted it that they found a secret in that Chevy engine that's going to help them strongly in competing for race wins this year. Oh, and they're wrecking again. I heard the tires squeal as they race to the start-finish line. Yellow flag waving. We're going to have to figure out just how many more were involved in this one. Unfortunately, Escobar looks like is going to be one of the ones involved here. So Shelton in the middle. I believe the wreck's going to happen right around here. And this is looking more and more like a typical Daytona race right now with the wrecks and carnage that we're getting in tonight. 3 wide, the 8. Oh, right from the lead. Cannon Gage, Eli the Wolf, Jakov Rosevich. Maybe even Mousy there. Mozzie barely gets a bit of it. The one that really hurts is the 10 of Jordan Walker getting a big chunk of the wall there. Even Hamburgerson might have narrowly avoided getting in that one. We'll see from his in-car camera here just how close things were. Wow, what a save. He just clipped the side of the 13 truck there. I think he's going to make it through with very little, if any, damage on that 76 truck. Oh, the 44, Ryan Little, if only he had cleared just a little more of the wreck there. Gets clipped by Osiel. Spins. Might not have a whole lot of damage, but that truck doesn't look very pretty. This is going to start turning into a race of attrition here. Man, I was just giving Cannon Gage props for the secrets they found in that Chevy engine. But even though you might find some extra speed, you can't always find a gap in the wreck. And we'll let them cycle around a couple more laps here. Give a bit of an update on the running order, though, as we've got Jeffrey Gerald leading the way right now. Scott Speed in second. Zach Armstrong in third. Then you've got Mark Shelton running fourth. Jamie Horseman in fifth. David Bird running solidly in sixth. Chaz Chadwick, our perennial title contender, in the top 10. As well as Bradley Ream and Kyle Ottawa, all in the top 10 right here. Rounding out the top 10 is Skylar Taylor. Then you got 11th of GP Luxembourg. Finley Herwig in 12th. Ham Bergerson in 13th. Alan Malcolm in 14th. Ant Meeperson 15th. Jordan Walker 16th. James Reddick still running out there in 17th. Ryan Little in 18th. A few more trucks come back on the field. Looks like a couple retired between 18th to 22nd. So 19th, 20th, and 21st retired. The 19 of Guido Piano, the 54 of Chris Mozzie, and the 74 of Andrew Moger, all out of this one now. 20 trucks left running. 2 of them 1 lap down. And we should be getting back to green in just another half a lap here. So go ahead, maybe grab a quick drink, get some popcorn, because I think we're going to get some good racing here finally now that we've wrecked out about half the field. Man, we were on such a roll with Armory that now it seems like we can't get some green flag laps to go our way here. Got to give credit to these drivers at the front of the field that have been able to survive tonight. It's a short period that we've been through already, and already been a lot of carnage. Spindy day for these team owners. The green flag waving. Here we go with the restart on lap 18. And some of you might not know, but this year the championship contender, or the title defense, is not there. So we don't have our 2023 champ defending. So it'll be a brand new champion unless we have a repeat winner from 2022 with that of Guido Piano. Jeffrey Gerald's going to hold the lead here over Jamie Horseman. Kyle Ottawa up to third. And Chadwick wants to join his teammate up at the front of the field, running in fourth right there. Horseman with a pass maneuver under the 16 truck here to take the lead. And have a little bit of drafting help here from Ottawa behind him, as you've got Ford, Chevy, Honda, and even a Dodge there in the top 5. 2 Hondas. Here comes David Bird. David Bird's kind of been putting it together piece by piece to try and get that truck in a competitive manner of winning. I believe his best finish has been a top 5 in this series, so it's been hard for that 96 team to run up front and put together winning performances. I'm going to have to DQ the 00 here. He is running way off the pace so that we don't have another pile up. Osiel's running all right, still 191 miles an hour, so the damage is enough to slow him up, but not completely off the draft. But yeah, 167 from Jack Ross. Unfortunately, his day comes to an end. David Bird led the lap that time. Under attack here from Hamburgerson. Hamburgerson taking the lead. GP Luxembourg followed by Herwig there in third. Skylar Taylor in fourth. And Scott Speed in the top 5 now. In case this is the first time you've tuned into a USA Trucks race this season, you might notice that some of the trucks have a sticker on them representing the region that manufacturer's from. Let's see if I can get a better angle on it here. So for example, you can see the Muracar decal there on the Dodge truck. And the Japcar sticker there on the Toyota. And I Don't think we've got any more of the European trucks running, as they both wrecked out. Woofty, look at how crumpled the tin truck is. Nope, that's, yeah, we, unfortunately the Euro cars have dropped out of this one tonight. And we'll have kind of a separate battle going for the national championship. Railfan Motorsports, all three of their trucks in the same picture here. You got team owner Bradley Ream in the 40 and teammates Zach Armstrong in the 4 and Scott Speed in the 41. They have been the hottest team as of late, ending 2023 with a solid finish to the campaign, and looks like starting this year off just the way they left it last year. Chadwick with the lead. As we were messing around with the camera there, we didn't notice at that point Chadwick was leading. Loses the momentum here, 3 wide for second, 3 wide for a few spots down the order. Man, it's a tight field here that we've got. At least now we're getting some good racing short of the wrecks. Of course, I'm going to mention that and jinx everything. Give a shout out there to Ryan Little, who was involved in that last caution, and he's up at the front fighting for the lead. Jamie Horseman making a pretty solid push there on the outside, but the inside line is where it's at. GP Luxembourg holding the lead for now. Chadwick holding solidly in the middle. Things are getting a little bit chaotic here. It feels like the track and the bumps and everything. We still have enough trucks here for carnage to happen yet again before the end of this one. But I'm impressed on the back straight. That 28 gets a run that almost pushes him to the lead. That was a close call with the 44 and the 92 there. It almost turned into 4 wide in the middle of the turn. Chadwick putting a nose in front of the 84, leading the lap that time. If you're just now tuning in, you've basically missed out on all the wrecking that we've had tonight. And these are your drivers that have survived up to this point. It's actually kind of neat that we can get them all into one camera shot here because, oh, and there we go with yet another wreck here tonight. So the drone cam caught that one. Ooh, the 92 is going to be out for the count. Man, Ryan Little in yet another wreck here. That was a doozy. That could have been a doozy. Yeah, that was, we were kind of noticing that things were getting out of sorts there. And who makes it through? Man, Jamie Horseman with a hard hit there. 2/3 of Railfan Motorsports involved with Bradley Ream and Scott Speed. I think the 11's going to get out of that with a little bit of damage. His nose is pretty crumpled up, so Shelton, unfortunately, getting caught up in that wreck. They might have to do some repairs to get that truck running good. Just 3 wide at the wrong spot in the track there. Oh, Skylar Taylor after all the wrecking. Oh, wow, okay. Oh, David Bird. Ow, that's a scary hit no matter what way you roll the dice. I don't want to say it, but it sits there in the back of my mind. That looks reminiscent of a very monumental point NASCAR history there at this track, in particular at Daytona. As long as David Bird can walk away from that, should be a good thing, but holy cow. And he's going to drive it back to pit road, but I think David Bird's day is done. Holy cow. Okay. Well, he got slammed into the turn 3 wall, and that put an end to his day. And many more trucks knocked out of this one. We're down to about 10 trucks, I think, left running here. Someone got disqualified. Oh, that was the 00 I DQ'd so we didn't have another wreck. Yet we still did. 92 of Kyle Ottawa out of this one now. The 44 of Ryan Little. The 96 of David Bird. The 16 of Jeffrey Gerald. The 11 of Mark Shelton. The 41 of Scott Speed. The 45 of Skylar Taylor. And that would put us at about 15 trucks left running, and we're not even to halfway yet. Okay, so the running order as it sits right now will be the 84 of GP Luxembourg, the 4 of Zach Armstrong, 18 of Chaz Chadwick, the 68 of Finley Herwig, the 76 of Hamburgerson in the top 5. Then you have Alan Malcolm. Okay, so he gained some spots on pit road, jumped from 9th up to 6th here. Ant Me Person still running. Jordan Walker still alive. And James Reddick still alive. I think the only truck that is without any damage has got to be the 18 of Chaz Chadwick. And perhaps the 76. I see a little bit of a crumple on the left side of the 76. So he did sustain a little bit of damage. Maybe the 4 of Zach Armstrong. Those two have been able to avoid making contact with any trucks here today. Oh, Jamie Horseman having to pull down pit road from 11th here with more damage than he can sustain. Oh, he blew her up coming around on the final lap here before the restart. 75% damage to his engine. So Jamie Horseman was through the ringer here today, had a good run going up until the point where he got involved in the wreck. He is out for the count. So we have 11 trucks left running. The 65 of Asiel Escobar is 1 lap down, but you wouldn't know that because he's still running with these guys. If luck could go his way, he'd get back on the lead lap and be fighting for the win here tonight. I could just shut up and not jinx anything, I guess, but then it wouldn't be as fun. I've already wrecked like 90% of the field. I guess like Denny Hamlin, I wrecked all your favorite drivers. Yeah, I didn't want to say that was a Dale-esque wreck, but it was. And I feel more worse about it because David Bird is probably one of the largest Dale Sr. fans, so it's very weird, you know, seeing that happen to David Bird and modeled after one of his favorite drivers. Like, oh boy, that's crazy. I think we could have some very fascinating stories to come out of this one tonight, folks. Zach Armstrong has been at it here in the USA Truck since 2022 and has had the worst of luck when it comes to closing the deal. And of course I'm talking about this and good chance of jinxing it. But that's where I just want to share the story with everyone because not everyone knows how hard that Zach Armstrong has tried to get the first win here in the Truck Series. He's jumped a couple teams, a few different teams, and I think he's finally found the right fit here with Railfan Motorsports. Bradley Ream really has a strong team here in the USA Trucks, and they're going to be a threat for championship all season long. So Zach Armstrong leading over Chadwick right now. Finley Herwig in third. And I guess I can give a rundown on where everyone else finished that is currently watching. So Jamie Horseman is going to bring it home 12th. Mark Shelton brings it home 13th in his debut. So still not a terrible finish. He showed some strength here today and I think is going to be a contender for potential race wins here in 2024. Scott Speed with a 14th. Skylar Taylor with a 15th. So if you're making your series debut and you're getting a top 15, that's impressive. I mean, look at the likes of Travis Pastrana making his one and only NASCAR Cup start. I think he got a top 15 in his one and only Daytona 500. So it's hard to do at Daytona, especially when you get a wreck fest like tonight. Jeffrey Gerald was leading some laps and is going to come home 16th. David Bird was showing some signs of potential winning hope, but has to close it out in 17th here tonight. Ryan Little, Kyle Ottawa, and Jack Ross. Your 2022 Series champion Guido Piano in 21st. And then Chris Mozzie in 22nd. Andrew Moger in 23rd. Al Bunch in 24th. Eli the Wolf in 25th. Jakov Rosevich in 26th. Cannon Gage coming home 27th. Chris Hergesen 28th. James Gunner 29th. James Robert 30th, otherwise known as Fireball Robert. Andre Stefan 31st, who was a championship contender in 2023. Taden Berggren 87 of Al Bunch. I might have misspoke on the 78. Oh, John Brinker in the 78. My bad. John Brinker 24th. So we got lap traffic in the mix now. The 40 of Bradley Ream, but they made it by pretty quickly there. Unfortunately, 34th, Steven Oberstadt, AJ Kosnoff, Nate Newman, and the 59 truck, whose name I forget, Gannon Bird, be our 37th and final position. Other than that, you still got 11 spots up for grabs here with 30 laps to go. And things have kind of stretched out to a single file run here, as you don't have near as many trucks in the draft. But at the back of that draft, you still have Hamburgerson in the fight here. GP Luxembourg. 68 of Herwig actually made a move up to second there. I'm hoping we can get the ARCA series back. If anything, I might have to request taking over it, but I don't even want to do that either, because it's Moger's baby. So, but if we get enough people in this season and enough potential contenders, then we might have to consider reviving it for a summer championship. Yeah, we do have Jaguar, and currently the hottest team in the Cup Series, as Kellen Relic ended up winning the season opener in a Jaguar, and both Jaguar entries finished top 10. They're fighting to stay alive as a manufacturer, so once they knock the other the other manufacturers out, they could grow to being about maybe a 4-car stable, maybe even a 6 or 10-car stable, depending on how strong they are. 13 kind of holding up the traffic here. Gave Hamburgerson a chance to gain some spots. Hamburgerson now up to third here. Atlee's Cup team is Toyota Racing Development. He did take over Joe Gibbs Racing. It was Joe Gibbs, as he won the championship for Joe Gibbs, and he took over and renamed it Toyota Racing Development. Here we go. Hamburgerson now fighting for the lead here with the 4 of Zach Armstrong. Still got 5 trucks very solidly with an opportunity to win it here tonight. What's crazy here is we've got 3 Chevys in the top 5. Chevy, the team that has struggled to get wins every year since this series was conceived in 2022. And currently, to date, they only have 1 win here in the Truck Series. Green flag pit stops are happening. This could really mess things up a little bit too, as we are at 45 of 70. So 25 laps to go. Jordan Walker is about to be the next truck under attack here, going a lap down. It's impressive. We've got 2 drivers in the top 5 in their series debut, Finley Herwig and Ham Bergerson, both with a very solid shot of fighting for the win here tonight. They're closing in on another truck here. The 40 of Bradley Ream's going to whoa up the field here. It's going to give Chadwick an opportunity to steal the lead from Zach Armstrong. The boss man in the 40 actually is going to end up blocking the 18 to give his teammate in the 4 the lead back. And Ham Bergerson, unfortunately, in a bad position. Stuck behind both of the slower trucks. He might have trouble finding the draft here. He's going to have to get by both the 40 and the 10 and hope that he's got the draft necessary to stay with the 68, the 18, and the 4. Oh, but we got green flag pit stop still, I think. The 4 coming down. Ham Bergerson staying out. But this is going to really break up the draft at the entire front of the field. Look at that. Ham Bergerson using that 10 truck. The lap traffic actually putting together a solid run here. Seems like Bergerson's able to give that 10 truck a good draft push. Chadwick now sitting duck at the front, losing a lot of momentum here as the 68 has that draft. And there we go. The 68 might just steal the lead here. But I don't know for how long, as they will still have to pit. '68 of Finley Herwig is going to lead in his series debut here. Ham Bergerson stuck 3 wide with the lap traffic and Chaz Chadwick. Here we go again. He's going to get such a lead that the draft is going to swallow him back up here. No draft means you're going to be a sitting duck until the other guys get caught back up to you. It's a very peculiar turn of events here that we've seen. The leaders kind of get shuffled around due to chaotic pit strategy and lap traffic. I think we're going to see these guys try to stretch it and make it on one more pit stop. With 20 laps to go this time by, I think you can make it with about 20 laps of fuel here. So between these 3, it might be one of these 3 winning it here tonight. Chadwick with a good run here on Ham Bergerson. And to answer your question, Eli, about the cup entries, it would cost in our earnings system $7 million to purchase a 1-car team. And like tonight's race, you will accumulate earnings based on your finishing position here in the truck race. If you end up in the Bridge to Cup series, you will get earnings through that series as well. You have opportunities to buy more associate sponsors that you can apply to growing your earnings here in the series. So there's opportunities. Yeah, 6.5. I rounded it to 7 million. I think because there might have been an update recently. If that ain't the most recent one, if that's where it stands, that's where it stands. Yeah, 6.5 million. And so, yeah, no. Ooh, Zach Armstrong getting snake bitten again here. Perhaps running out of gas? Which I don't know how that's possible. He made a stop down pit road. So what happened to Zach Armstrong? Oh, he made a mistake pit stop here where he pulls into the pit box, pulls off, and he's going to just coast around the track here. A brutal mistake to be made by the 4 truck, who was looking to be a contender for the win here tonight. These 3 at the front still haven't pitted. As we're closing in on 15 to go here in a couple laps, hopefully we don't have any more fuel concerns like the 4 truck did there. '84 still running. How fitting that Hamburgerson is driving the McDonald's car too. Yep, the 4 truck ran out of gas, so unfortunately might have been part of my commentator's jinx yet again, as I was hyping up the storyline behind that 4 truck, and sometimes you can't avoid terrible luck, especially at a super speedway. Hamburgerson called his shot. He made that, and there we go again, as I might just be jinxing another terribly horrible jinx by mentioning it. But Hamburgerson was blowing up his social feeds before the race here tonight, saying Hamburgerson will win at Daytona, bringing that hashtag to the top of the list on the server. And holy cow, man, if that hasn't willed him to a strong run tonight, at least it's something he can hang his hat on to say that his season started on a high note with a very high finishing position. Especially now, he can't finish any worse than 11th. You know, it's funny, Jaguar actually was a winning manufacturer in real life NASCAR. Most people don't know about it, but there was a race, I think it was in New Jersey. I think it was on an airport or something that they'd put a kind of a, makeshift road course together. And they had a lot of foreign manufacturers competing in that race. What would have been called the Grand National Series at that time, before the true incarnation of NASCAR as we know today. But Jaguar ended up winning that race at the New Jersey airport. And I think there was multiple Jaguars in that race. So it was impressive that NASCAR actually has in the record books a Jaguar winning a race. Hamburgerson, Chaz Chadwick, and Finley Herwig still here with a good shot at getting the win here tonight. Things have kind of got strung out here with other top contenders dropping from the lead, making pit stops that have probably sunk the chance of getting the win here tonight. Finley Herwig there in the 68. The 10 truck of Jordan Walker is a lap down, albeit only 1 lap down, and he's running in 5th. So if they catch up to the 62 truck, which it looks like they could, catching up to the 62 truck to put him a lap down, the 10 could gain another spot up to 4th. And that too is impressive, that James Reddick has stayed alive, avoiding certain destruction here tonight. Looks like he's found a good tango partner here in the draft with the 65 of Asiel. Both of them 1 lap down. or actually Osceola 1 lap down, and the 62 of Reddick barely on the lead lap. Nice. Probably not. I would imagine that there was very few photo evidence of how the track design looked, but I guess surprises do exist. They could surprise us with the existence of the Linden Airport in NR2003. There are tracks from that era that have, you know, that they have knowledge of the layout and designs of tracks. So maybe with the right know-how, you can find some kind of evidence to how that track was laid out. If you like international racing, our Cup Series does have quite a few international stops on the schedule. We do go to, here, let me pull up the schedule so I can give a rundown on everything involved on the schedule for 2024 Sylvania Cup Series. So we go to Brands Hatch, and that'll be the first week in March. And then a little bit later on in the season, we end up going to Kyalami, the South African road course. That'll be later in the year in August. And it's kind of simplified down a bit this year. We don't have nearly as many in the Cup Series, but our trucks has kind of got a little bit more action when it comes to international, especially once we get past the east-west. We'll see tracks like Monaco perhaps, or anything outside of the United States as part of the East-West Championship finale, when we bring the best of the East and the best of the West together to figure out a combined champion for the overall championship at the end of the year. So we've got just a handful of laps left here tonight. 8 laps remaining. Our 3 trucks in the fight: Chaz Chadwick, Hamburgerson, and Finley Herwig. And I'm not sure if they're going to pit or not. It seems like they're pretty content with just riding with what they got. So the other trucks that pitted might have just had some bad gas, may have stayed out on other stops where these 3 pitted. Here we go, Hamburgerson getting the lead back as we're down to 6 laps to go here. This is kind of a very polar opposite of what we've been seeing to start the series of racing this year, where we had basically almost a 3-wide finish for the win at Armory, and both races run there. The Bridge to Cup race we saw at the Daytona Rallycross track actually was an exciting race with a lot of lead changes and a good selection of carnage in the mid-race there as well. This one was just marked with pure chaos from the start, so we're kind of picking up sticks at the end of this one as to who's going to get it done here. Finley Herwig leading now as there's only 5 laps to go. I'm glad we found a big Jaguar fan in our series. That, to me, has been the thing to try and keep a manufacturer in the series. It's nice that we have our, resident Volkswagen, a resident Subaru fan and everything. Now we've got a resident Jaguar fan, and welcome to the family, Eli. That's your Jaguar. I don't think is going to go anywhere, as there will be Jaguar by the time you get your way up into Cup. So, but there might be, if you can maybe coordinate with Al Bunch, maybe you can get some of those schemes on Al Bunch's Cup car this year. We can maybe test trial it, getting your foot in the door for a good Jaguar position in Cup. So 3 more laps, and I don't think these guys are pitting. So this is going to be for all the marbles here at the end. Hamburgerson, a good run here going on the inside of Chaz Chadwick. They catch up to the 84 of GP Luxembourg. It looks like Chadwick cuts back down to take that draft away from Bergerson. Finley Herwig catches back up to the 2 in front of him. We get to see the slinky effect here, where they start to stretch out and they start to close back up on each other. 2 laps remaining here at Daytona. It's been a good race here towards the end with a lot of lead changes even. Ooh, Herwig taking the position here from Bergerson. Perhaps strategic move from Bergerson to try and get to the back of this pack here and mount one final charge in the closing laps, as next lap will be 69 of 70. Ooh, Bergerson under duress here from the 84. That could spell trouble for Bergerson, getting stuck behind the slower traffic of the 84. But maybe that 84's got a little bit more speed in the tank than we give it credit for, even though it went a lap down. Luxembourg mixing it up here with the leaders. He might try to go and get one of his laps back, as he's multiple laps down in 9th. He was one of those that pitted and I think had a bit of a gas problem, a reception of the gas wasn't receiving well in the tank or something. But he's come back alive and he's trying to mix it up with the leaders. Multiple laps down here. Hamburgerson side by side for the lead with Herwig behind them now. White flag waving in the air. This is going to be the final lap of the race tonight, folks. Bergerson leads over Chadwick. Chadwick just kind of minding his business there behind him. He's going to have a few opportunities to make the move count. Bergerson got himself into the position that he so desired, leading on the last lap here at Daytona. Chadwick right up on the back bumper of the 76, pushing so hard there. And he's going to go deep and drive into turn 3 to put a nose side by side with the 76 here. Maybe Bergerson will pull the passover maneuver. And it's going to be hard for Bergerson with that move there by Chadwick. Is going to cement the deal for the 18 team. LFG Motorsports takes home the first win here this season on the East Coast. Hamburgerson coming home with a solid 2nd place. Finley Herwig coming home 3rd. But hell yeah. unfortunately deflated the balloon for Hamburgerson winning it at Daytona, but I think Hamburgerson can still party it up like he won the race here today. That was, we seen it all week long that the rookies have just come up just a little bit short when it comes to fighting the veterans for the win here. We saw Trevor Walker get the win in the West Coast opener. We saw John Hagan get it done in the Bridge to Cup opener. And in the Cup opener, Kellen Relic denied any of the rookies from getting their first ever win. So, congratulations to Chaz Chadwick on getting himself one step closer to a title. It's early. Yes, it is just one win, but that one win has already locked him in to the West East Championship at the end of the year. So take a moment of silence for those that didn't make it through here tonight. Wow, how fitting too. Hamburgerson finished behind by 76 thousandths to Chadwick there. Very close margin of victory for Chadwick to finish it here tonight. Third, obviously, was Herwig. Fourth, James Reddick. Reddick actually had a top 5 finish in the Cup opener, finishing second. So coming home today, fourth, even though he was involved in the wrecks and looked like he was going to get a not so great finish here at the end. Jordan Walker, 1 lap down in 5th. Alan Malcolm in 6th. Those were your 2 front row pole position setters, finishing 5th and 6th here. Asiel Escobar 7th. Ant Meeperson 8th. GP Luxembourg and Bradley Ream rounding out your top 10. Well, chalk one up for the Jap Car camp as Chadwick gets Honda. Yet another win here in the USA Trucks. And that marks yet another race in our start here to 2024. Gonna have a day off before we go back racing in the Bridge to Cup series, and we'll be taking to the same high banks here of Daytona for a 300-mile event with the Bridge to Cup series. A couple new entries have been marked. We will have a 32-car field for the Bridge to Cup series, and that will be our cap for the Bridge to Cup action throughout the rest of the year. I would like to thank everyone that had come in to see it. Got a lot of new faces joining the stream here today. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully we can see you in the next stream just coming this next Thursday. So with that, everyone, I am going to close out the stream here tonight. Hopefully, I'll have a safe night, and we'll catch you on the next one.